My name is Leanna Paul, and I'm talking to Adela from the Implant Awareness Society, and we're discussing the beginning of how you founded your society.
Okay, I was invited to help with a symposium that Health Action Network was putting on in the Hyatt. And I was feeling pretty sick at that time, and I took my products and went in. And it was in the evening, and there was a doctor on the stage, and he had some slides up. And he said, I know I'm running over time, but I have to talk about this very important topic, and it has to deal with breast implants. And I was sitting at the very back of the room, and it was all of a sudden my eyes were riveted on him and the screen. And he put the face of a lady up on the screen, and she had that vacant look in her eyes. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm starting to look vacant like that when I look in the mirror. And he started to tell us how terribly toxic they were and what some of the symptoms were that could let us know that we were having trouble with breast implants.
Yeah.
And so out of that, I was in touch with some women in Burnaby. And they invited me to come into a meeting there in one of the very large apartments. And there was about 20 to 22 women there in the room. Well, we began to talk about the symptoms. Getting lost. Oh my goodness, they're getting lost? One lady had her children, 2 children in the car, one in the front seat, one in the back seat. She said she was just about to go through the intersection. She remembered that. All of a sudden, she had what I call a whiteout. She didn't know who she was, where she was, and who these children were.
Wow.
And she said, something weird is happening here.
Yeah.
And she pulled over to the curb, which wasn't very easy to do, just passing through a very busy intersection. And she sat there waiting, and she waited for about 5 minutes when slowly things became back in focus with her. Well, when she was describing this, it twigged with me that I was having these, and I call them whiteouts. Blackouts, you don't know what's happening, but a whiteout, you're not unconscious, you can converse, you just can't think.
Yeah.
You just cannot think. They're very, very scary, especially if you're driving.
Yeah.
Well, the other women in the room started talking about their whiteouts. And we all began talking about symptoms, and I said, this is weird. This is absolutely weird.
Yeah.
You couldn't go down the street and talk to 100 women that have these same symptoms. And here we are in a room, and all of us have breast implants and have these symptoms.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with our doctors? Do they know what's wrong with us and don't want to tell us? Is it that serious? Or is it not serious at all? That's why they don't discuss it. The plastic surgeon doesn't help you either.
Yeah.
Your general practitioner, he doesn't help you. And first thing you find is that you're all alone. Most of these women, their companions had left them. One lady had even been put in a straitjacket and her children put into care because they said she wasn't fit to have them. The list went on and on with so much suffering and pain. So one of them said, well, we should form a society. Well, no one wanted to step forward and do that. The next meeting we had, the same group of us, was in Holy Family Hospital in the basement. They were good enough to loan us a room. And the women said, well, we should form a society or a club or something. And I said, well, I've checked into the society rules and regulations, and I need there needs to be a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer, and some public relations officer. I need, I, there needs to be a group of 5 of us. And they said, well, will you run for president? And no one else would, so I said, okay, I will.
Yeah.
I'll be the president and learn what to do. And another woman said, well, I'll be the secretary. And so we got the women together to assist me in the job, and they all pitched in and helped me.
Okay.
Yes, and my husband is a technical writer. That's his background. And I was getting documentation now from Dr. Pierre Blais in Ottawa, and with my husband's help, we were and the doctor's approval, we were rewriting the documentation into simple form.
Yeah.
And giving that to the women for help.
I see. So little packages, you're refining the information that you'd learned.
That's right.
And sending that out at the time too.
We were photocopying it and mailing it out.
And how long ago was that?
That was right away, actually, right from 94 into 95. It took off right away.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me last time when we were talking that most of these women have passed away from their symptoms.
Yes, yes, I've got that on the web, the memorial to them, and many, it just is so sad, have passed away, and they never even made 55 years of age, 55, 60. Many passed away.
With barely any mention, like, this is such a serious thing that you would assume that it'd be common knowledge for people to know that, you know, these women have had obvious symptoms from implants and now they're not here anymore because of it.
That's right.
If anything, that'll motivate me.
Well, their doctors never spread the news that implants was the cause of their demise.
Yeah.
You don't see that anywhere in the newspaper, in the obituaries. It's always cancer or something else, but it's never from the toxins in breast implants.
Yeah.
You never see that.
Yeah, that's what I read when I was looking into them myself, that the majority of women with problems were genetically predisposed, so it was a very, very small fraction of a chance that anything could ever happen to myself if I got them.
Well, unfortunately, you went along with the trend, and the trend is to do whatever you can to look good.
Yeah. And
this is why the young men are getting implants today. They're getting bicep and chin implants and biceps, and it's all wrong. The same silicone is in the breast implants, and silicone is the most toxic man-made substance there is. And I use reports to help. I've got this book here. It's wrote by 24 doctors. It says right on the front, occupational medicine, toxicology, silicone toxicity. 24 doctors can't be wrong. They're not afraid to speak out and say there's problems. I've also used the report, which is 61 pages, and this was the FDA's regulations of silicone breast implants, and it's the 102nd Congressional Second Session House of Representatives Committee Report. The staff report prepared by the Human Resources and Intergovernmental Relations Subcommittee of the Committee on Government Operations. Stamped right here, April 17, 1993. And it all has to deal with the problems with silicone implants.